If you're watching this, maybe you're a small business owner or getting started on your digital presence online, or maybe you're in a marketing department and recently were assigned to manage your team's website. Either way, you're in the right place. I'm here to give you the baby steps to get started on editing your Squarespace website. Once logged into your account dashboard, click on the website you'd like to edit. On the left will be all the settings for your website, and on the right will be a preview of your website. This is the edit button. Up here we have a preview for mobile devices, as well as our site styles, and a full screen preview for your website. After clicking on website, you're brought to all your pages. Here you can create a new one, rearrange existing ones, and access advanced settings like system pages and custom CSS, as well as your trash. Let's try editing our home page. I'm going to click on the edit button, and this will bring us into a full screen editor. I'm going to add a new section. Squarespace has lots of great template sections, but we're going to start with a blank one. On the top left is an add block button, and I'm going to put in a text block. This block now is defined by the blue square around it. You can resize it to how you'd like it to lay on your screen. There's also a pencil icon to edit it just like you would a Microsoft Word document or Google Doc. Let's make the font a little bigger, maybe some italics, a center alignment. Next, let's try adding let's do a button. Squarespace offers 3 different designs for your buttons, which can be customized in site styles, which we will check out later in the video. Hitting on the pencil icon, you can change what your button says. You can attach a link to a website or a file. In the design, you can get to the area to edit your buttons, or you can work with the fit or fill for how it fits inside your blue box. Next, let's try adding a form. So if we click on the pencil, we have 3 tabs up here. First is content. This is the public-facing name of the form, which can be displayed if it's in a lightbox way, as well as the text for the button at the bottom. Next, we have our fields. By default, they give you name, email, subject, and message, which would be for your typical contact information. Let's click on Add Field, and let's put in a phone number, radio option box, and how about the date. You can click and drag what order your fields appear in, as well as make them required. When somebody hits submit, you can also customize what happens. You can have a little message pop up on screen or redirect them to another page of your website, or use some custom code. Recently, Squarespace updated with lots of great design options for forms. I really like this one with the rounded corners, and this one too with the little smaller corners. They also let you have new borders around your form, have it be a form that pops open, add a background to it and selecting color, and even some cool animations like highlighting your first field. Next is storage. So by default, what email you're logged in with is who the forms will be forwarded to. I suggest if you use something like Google Workplace that you create an email group that forms can be forwarded to multiple people, because as of today, you can't have multiple email addresses have forms be sent to them. I like to always make a Google Sheet each time. So if you click on this button, it'll connect you with your Google Drive, and it will automatically make a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, with the form submissions. So each column will be your fields, and each row will be the information people have submitted. If you're familiar with Zapier, it's a really cool and powerful integration. Really, this brings the forms to life. You can do almost anything with this. The other storage option is MailChimp, which MailChimp's free option is still really good if you want to start doing email campaigns. When somebody submits the form, it will add them to the audience that you chose. Next to look at on our editor is mobile preview. If you see up here, there's a little blue dot on the image of a phone. This means that you've added new blocks to your page and they haven't been positioned for mobile view yet. So let's click on that and see what it looks like. Also in the editor too, you can have blocks on top of each other. So there's the option to move something behind it. You can see the contact button now appeared back. It's important every time you rearrange some blocks or make new ones that you do check to see what it looks like on a phone, because sometimes if you have a tall block like this, it might accidentally leave a really big white blank space beneath you, and you can grab the little blue bar and remove the rows that you have. Some additional options while editing are in the edit section. So this here is where you can change how the gap lines up with each other, or if your section fills its entire space, as well as a divider. I like playing with the random shuffle button on the divider to see what kind of look you can get. You can also upload an image for your background or select from your asset library, or browse some of their stock images. you can upload up to a 1-minute video to play in the background, and by default they have it set to playing at half speed, so I usually like to bump it up to normal playback. And in case somebody's browser isn't playing friendly and the video doesn't play, you can add an image that they call fallback image to appear if the video doesn't work. Squarespace also added what they call art, where your background can have animated kind of CSS looking designs going on in the background with lots of customizations to them. You can also duplicate your section or favorite it, which saves it to your saved sections. So if you were to go back to add a section, you'll see here underneath blank is saved sections. You can also rearrange your sections, and this is really cool. So let's say this image we have in the background, we can hit the up arrow and it'll just swap this section that has text only to be above it, or move it all the way down to the bottom. Let's take a look at organizing our pages as well as making a new one. First, we have our main navigation. These are the links that'll appear up here. Usually this is your most important information you want your visitors to see first. As you can see, our services is the first one. If we drag that below about us, these two will switch their position. You can also rearrange the position of your main navigation by hitting edit, editing your header, hit edit design, and then select the layout. Underneath main navigation, you have not linked. These are the pages that don't appear in your main navigation, but can still be linked by clicking on a button on your website or being forwarded from your footer. If you hover over a page, you can see a trash can to delete a page. If you delete it, you have 30 days to recover it. And after you delete a page, you'll see the trash appear down here in the bottom. Let's open that up and try recovering a page. If you hover over your pages, you can see also the cogwheel for general settings. This is where you can change your page title, navigation title, and your URL. The page title is what a visitor would see up in their browser tab, and the navigation is what appears on your website header. You can also change your URL. You can enable or disable a page or add a password to it. You cannot disable your homepage. And your home page you can tell is the one that has a little house next to it. If you need to duplicate your page to save for later, there's a duplicate button, or if you need to change which one is your home page, it's here, as well as another option for deleting. Under navigation, they recently added a way to enable and disable the header and footer on a page. You used to have to do some custom code for this in a code injection, but they've made it nice and easy now to disable it, which sometimes I like to do that for unique landing pages. There are also SEO options. So when you have your page appear in a search engine, you can change what it says for your web page as well as a description. And in my experience, Squarespace does a really good job with SEO optimization, so I haven't had to do a lot on this to get my pages to appear. And in case it's a private page you don't want appearing, you can also disable it from search results. There's an option to add a image for when somebody shares this. Let's say somebody pasted your link in a Facebook post, you can select what image you'd like to be the thumbnail. And there's also some code injection. This is where you used to put in to hide footers, or maybe you want to do some custom font stuff only for this page, you could do it here. Next, let's try clicking on adding a new page. I like to start with a blank page, and here's where you'd name it. By default, the name you give it here is the same name that it applies to the page title, navigation, and URL slug. You can also create a drop-down menu. These are also known as nested pages or submenus. And when you create a drop-down, it'll make a single menu in your navigation. It's currently not possible to put a drop-down inside of a drop-down, although I usually don't enjoy the user experience of having to navigate through those. Keep in mind, your drop-down will have a URL assigned to it, but no page. So when you type in the address of your drop-down, it'll automatically put you in the first page in your drop-down. So let's try adding our about to the drop-down, as well as services. And you can see here, they now appear underneath. Let's take a look at our system pages. First, you have your 404 page, which is fancy for a page somebody tried to get to that doesn't exist. You can automatically direct them back to your home page, or you can type a little message saying, hey, we couldn't find the page you were looking for. If you are e-commerce, you can customize your checkout page. Lots of really cool options here. It's mostly only design. You can't disable, for instance, having a discount code or something, because since this is where information regarding credit cards would be input, they kind of lock down the customization of this page to prevent any scams or phishing to happen. Next, you have your lock screen. In case your website's private or you have a page that's only accessible by password, you can change the design of this. Next, we have website tools. Here's where you have custom CSS. This is where you could do some cool stuff with even more button customizations or a custom font. I don't suggest you paste or type any code in here if you don't know what you're doing, because you could break certain elements of your website that could be hard to undo. Here's another way to reach code injection for headers and footers. This goes across all of your pages. If you work with Google Ads or run ads on social media, they will oftentimes give you what's called a pixel tracker, and this is where you'd paste that information there to make sure people who visit your website can get tracked across advertising platforms. Next, we have an announcement bar. This is really great for especially might be running on your e-commerce, or I've used it to announce our restaurant's closed today due to weather, and the announcement bar is clickable so you can link it to another page. Similar to the announcement bar is the promotional pop-up. This is great for gaining contacts for email campaigns, and Squarespace offers multiple ways for the pop-up to appear after scrolling a certain amount or spending a certain amount of time on a page, as well as turning it off for people who have already seen it. Next is the mobile information bar, which can be displayed at the bottom of a mobile device. I personally don't like using this too much because usually I have the typical contact information available in your footer on your About page, but if you wanted quick access for somebody to tap to call, that can pop up there on the bottom. And finally is cookies and visitor data section. This is where you would enable your cookie banner or disable them altogether, as well as keep track of them in your activity log. Finally, let's dive into site styles. Let's take a dive into the site styles. There are lots of options in there, but for this video, I'm going to stick with fonts and colors and buttons. If you click on the paintbrush icon at the top right of editing any page, we will first take a look at fonts. Here's where you would switch your font pack for what's included, and as well as the base size of your font. Pro tip, if you hover over on most pages, if you hover over an item like this header, you can click on it and right away start editing what that one looks like. But keep in mind, this does make effect across your entire website. Here you can change your font family, your weight, style, line height, letter spacing, how big each type of text option is. You can also assign the styles to every type of way that text can be displayed on your website, including headers and links inside blocks, your announcement bar, your newsletter block, your form blocks. If you own a different font and don't like the options available for you in Squarespace, you can use a custom font in the custom CSS panel. This is a little more advanced for this video, so stay subscribed for that tutorial. Next, let's take a look at colors. First, here is where you can access your palette and change it from a preset. And here is where all of your themes lay. One, it'll show you what themes are being used on the current page you are on, as well as the others. If we click on the pencil for one of them, you can change default color of the background of that type of theme, how the colors of all the text works on that theme, the way the buttons look, galleries, everything. There's tons of color options here. While editing a page and you're in your section, you can click on the edit section and select a different color theme. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. I wish you the best of luck with your Squarespace website. It's a powerful tool, in my opinion, the easiest way to get started with your digital presence online. It's free to click the like button or subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment with any additional questions, or if you want to share your own experience using Squarespace.